Maybe it's an outlandish possibility. Maybe it's not. But there are people in the U.S. military that fear that Vladimir Putin could actually use nuclear threats after revealing he is working on new nuclear weapon technology that may be able to elude American defenses. This comes as reports that more people were killed in a Russian strike on a Ukrainian military base. So is it possible the situation could escalate? And what would that look like? Here to discuss, retired Marine Corps Colonel Michael Swan. Colonel, Ukraine, it's halfway around the world, but nuclear weapons from Russia could strike anywhere. So what do you worry about, and what should Americans worry about?
Well, I certainly worry about the use of nuclear weapons, that a world leader like that would actually throw that on the table. I think Putin's very scared right now. His forces are getting really drawn down and annihilated in Ukraine. He's not at any of the objectives he anticipated at being at. And so I think some of this is just hubris to keep everybody out of this engagement. But I'll tell you, one of the things that concerns me with our own leaders right now is, people have to understand that war is an extension of politics. We don't have wars, just have wars. We do it because we have a strategic objective in mind that we want to achieve. And right now, I have not heard what our strategic objective is in Ukraine. When you look at our own national security policy right now, and I went to look at it to see what we were outlining for our international interests and our domestic interests as they relate to security, it's still in draft form, 15 months into this administration, and it reads like a Hallmark card. So I sit here going, I don't know the objective politically or strategically in Ukraine, and now we're talking about potentially World War III. Now, as far as Putin actually using a nuclear device, when we talk about those things, those are weapons of mass destruction. One of the things that concerns me is that he might use a weapon of mass effect, something like a network attack on either a European ally of ours or us directly. You turn the power grids off in the U.S., I promise you, we will look like day 5 in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. It would be debilitating to us. So those are some of the things I look at. If he's willing to talk nuclear, he might go with a network attack.
Colonel, it seems like the Putin administration from the beginning was set on telling Putin what we would not do. Oh, we're not going to send troops there. Oh, we're not going to provide MiGs. We're going to make all this list of things as if Putin would not do something in response. Once he went into Ukraine, explain something to me, if you would. Isn't it more powerful then as a country for you to say, and including Jen Psaki, who we're waiting on any time now, isn't it better for the U.S. to say, we're not going to tell you what we're going to do because we have all options on the table. Mr. Putin did not live up to his side. We are not going to tell him what we're doing. That would be more of a position of strength, right?
Oh, you never tell your enemy your intentions. That's like rule number 1. But I would also say that the things that are really hurting us, like let's talk about sanctions. The only way that sanctions against a nation can be effective as a deterrent is, number 1, you make them very, very painful. Number 2, you have real resolve. And then you have to have a rational actor on the other side that will weigh the risks and benefits of his actions. But right now, I was listening to your speaker before, through Uranium One, the uranium that Russia would sell Iran to actually enrich comes from American soil. That's nonsensical. Tell me why Nord Stream 1 is still pumping oil to Europe when we have all these significant sanctions going on. We show neither the resolve nor the pain towards them to make this stop. And again, it takes me back to what is our objective over here?
Yeah. Colonel Swan, tell me this. Where we are right now, what we know right now, what do you think the next step should be?
Well, I think what we really need to consider as we look towards our steps, it's hard to say what we want to do when we don't know what our end state looks like. But know this,
right.
Putin does not make decisions in a vacuum. He talks to his allies and friends. And who are they? Well, they're certainly Belarus, but they're also Syria, they're Iran, and they're China. Now, whether he does a network attack or continues to ratchet up with this hubris of nuclear weapons, those allies are going to be in his side. And how committed are they? We just had Iran last week launch a missile barrage on our consulate in Iraq. So if Putin ratchets this up, what will China do? Will they use that opportunity, especially if our networks come down? When the lights come on, we might find that Taiwan is gone because China is ready to act because they know when Putin is going to make his decision and what actions he'll take. So we have to not just focus on Russia, we have to bolster our stuff ourselves around the world.
Okay. Colonel Mitchell Swan, thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Bob. It was a pleasure.